Geometry students, in this video we'll be looking at one topic, and that topic is a pretty simple topic. It's called an angle bisector. Okay, an angle bisector. This is a pretty quick video, and I think it's a pretty easy concept to understand. So with that in mind, let's go ahead and copy down your heading today. Your heading is an angle bisector. Angle bisector lesson 2.2. And please include the date. Let's fix that real quick. Sorry about that. Let's go ahead and include the date in your notes, if you would, please. All right. Angle bisector lesson 2.2 is your heading. Please write all of this down and include today's date. Okay, let's start off by giving you a definition of what an angle bisector is. An angle bisector is a ray that divides an angle into two angles that are congruent. Okay, an angle bisector is a ray that divides an angle into two angles that are congruent. A ray that divides an angle into two angles that are congruent. Please copy this definition into your notes. You need to have this in your notes. Please copy that down. You're responsible for that. And then I would also like to encourage you to copy this example into your notes also, okay? Please copy this down. Just draw an angle like this if you would, please. And that's not working very well. Let's slide that over. There we go. And then we'll draw a ray coming right out of here. There we go. Now, students, please listen to me very carefully, okay? Listen very carefully. Let's pretend this big angle right here. Now take some really good notes on this, please. Let's pretend this big angle right here had a measurement of 80 degrees, okay? That entire angle was 80 degrees, all right? Now, if this ray right here, if this ray divided the big angle up into two angles, in which one angle was 40 and the other angle here was 40, we would call this ray right here an angle bisector. Now we call it an angle bisector because it cut the big angle, and don't forget the big angle was 80 degrees. We call it an angle bisector because it cut the big angle into two small congruent angles, 40 and 40 degrees. Okay? So anytime a ray, like this ray does right here, takes a big angle and cuts it into two congruent angles, we call this ray right here that cut the angle in half, we call it an angle bisector. Okay? So please don't forget that. And another way to make note of this would be is if I had a little mark here and a little mark here, that means this angle here with one dot and this angle here with two dots, those two angles are congruent. They're equal. And thus, if this angle here is congruent to this angle here, then I know for sure that this ray right here is an angle bisector, okay? So again, for the fourth or fifth or sixth time, a ray that cuts an angle into two congruent angles is an angle bisector, okay? So with that in mind, let's move on to some problems now, okay? So having gotten over this definition, let's apply this definition to some math problems. So here we go. I would like you to copy this in your notes, so go ahead and write this down if you would, please. Ray BD is an angle bisector. Please copy this in your notes. Ray BD is an angle bisector. Find the measure of angle ABD. Find the measure of angle ABD. And so here we go. Please watch carefully, students. Notice I have a big angle right here. Okay? There's my big angle. And notice right over here it says ray BD is an angle bisector. Okay? So this ray right here cuts this big angle right here into two congruent angles. This angle here with one dot is congruent to this angle over here with two dots. That means the two angles are equal. Now I'd like to show you something else, students. When you see this 110 degrees right here, that 110 degrees is not referring to this angle right here. And you might say, well, Mr. Earhart, how do you know that? Because of this blue mark right here. You see the angle is written in blue, 110 degrees is written in blue, and you also see this blue mark right here. Now what that's saying is that the 110 degrees goes for this entire big angle. So the entire big angle is 110 degrees, and this ray right here is cutting the 110 degrees in half. So what that means is this little angle right here is 55 degrees, and this little angle over here, right over here, is also 55 degrees. Now look what they're asking you to find. They're asking you to find the measure of angle ABD. So here's A, here's B, and here's D. So we're going to find the measure of angle A down to B and up to D. And the answer is obviously 55 degrees. Okay? So the measure of angle ABD is 55 degrees. All right, let's try another problem. Now students, I want you to try this next one on your own. It's just like the last problem, and usually I ask you to pause the video, but today I want you to let the video run. I'm just going to wait about probably 30 seconds, maybe 60 seconds, and have you try this on your own. Okay, so here's the problem. Go ahead and try this. Ray, go ahead and copy this in your notes if you would, please. I would like you to write this in your notes. Ray HK is an angle bisector. Find the measure of angle JHK. All right, HK is an angle bisector. Find the measure of angle JHK. Copy that in your notes. Copy this angle in your notes. And I'm going to give you about 60 seconds to try to figure this problem out. So do not pause the video. Just go ahead and let this run, and we'll see how you guys do. Work on this the best you can, okay? Okay, about 10 more seconds, students. About 10 more seconds. And if you're confused, don't be embarrassed about that. Just take some really good notes and copy the problem down. Hopefully you'll do okay. And if you miss the problem, be sure and take your eraser and erase your mistakes and fix your mistakes in your notes. And so here we go. First of all, we notice that ray HK is an angle bisector. And so this ray right here is an angle bisector. Now what that means is this ray is cutting this big angle in half, okay? Now notice 52 degrees is written in blue, okay? And notice this line right here that I'm highlighting in green is also written in blue. So this little angle right here with one dot is not 52 degrees. This entire big angle is 52 degrees. So if I take 52 and divide it by 2, that means this little angle right here is 26 degrees, and this little angle here is 26 degrees, okay? So find the measure of angle JHK. Well, here's J, here's H, and here's K. So we're trying to find the measure of from J to H to K, angle JHK, this angle here, which is 26 degrees, okay? Moving on to the next problem. All right, let's try this one here. Please copy this in your notes. Ray AB is an angle bisector. Find the measure of angle YAD. Please copy this in your notes. Ray AB is an angle bisector. Find the measure of angle YAD and copy this in your notes also, please. I'll pause just a second while you do that. Ray AB is an angle bisector. Find the measure of angle YAD. Copy this in your notes here. Okay? All right, here we go. Now, the first thing I want you to notice is ray AB is an angle bisector. So this ray right here is cutting this big angle in half, okay? So that means this angle right here with one dot and this angle here with two dots are congruent. The next thing I want you to see is this 25 degrees right here. And actually, I should have done that in red, to be honest with you, and I apologize for not doing that, but it's too late now. I'm not going to try to fix it, but this should have been in red. But this angle right here, notice that it says 25 degrees, and I have just one mark right here. Notice the mark does not go all the way through the angle like the other problems have done. Okay, so 25 degrees goes to just this little angle right here. This angle right here. So if this angle here is 25 degrees, then this angle right here is also 25 degrees. Now I want you to find the measure of angle YAD. So here's Y, here's A, and here's D. So angle YAD is this whole big angle right here. So if this little angle here is 25 degrees and this little angle here is 25 degrees, then the measure of angle YAD has to be 25 plus 25, which is 50. Okay? So not too bad. All right, let's continue on, and let's apply a little algebra now to these problems. All right? Go ahead and copy this in your notes, students, if you would. Ray RQ is an angle bisector. Copy that down, please. And find the value of x. Copy that in your notes. And then go ahead and copy this problem into your notes. I'll give you just a couple seconds to do that, and we're going to move on, okay? Ray RQ is an angle bisector. Find the value of x. And here's the angle right here we're dealing with. Okay, here we go. The first thing I want you to notice is RQ is an angle bisector. So this ray right here cuts this big angle here in red right in half. Okay, so what that means is this angle right here with one dot and this angle over here with two dots are congruent. They're equal. Now think about that. If they're equal and I'm trying to find the value of x, all that I really need to do is take 6x plus 1 and set it equal to what? 85, because this angle here is congruent to this angle over here. And so let's go ahead and solve for x, bring the 1 over and make it a negative 1, and we're left with 6x equals 84, okay? And then divide both sides by 6, and x equals 16, because 6 goes into 84 16 times. And that's not right, is it? Let's see, 14 times. Sorry about that, 14 times. And there we go. So the value of x is 14. Not too bad. So we're taking this angle bisector principle and we're applying it to some algebra problems. Okay, let's try another problem, and I think it's the last one. Yeah, let's try one more algebra type of problem, and that'll be the last one for this video. Okay, copy this in your notes if you would, please. Angle BD is an angle bisector. Find the value of x. Copy this into your notes, and then copy this into your notes right here. I'll give you just a second to do that. Okay, here we go, students. First of all, I want you to realize BD is an angle bisector, and we know that because it says it right here. Ray BD is an angle bisector, so this ray right here divides the big angle up into two congruent angles. So this angle here with one dot is congruent to this angle here with two dots. Now, I'm trying to find the value of x, and so if I know this angle here is congruent to this angle here, then I can really state that 9x equals 8x plus 3. Now, when you're solving a linear equation, your goal is to get the x's on one side and the constant terms on the other side. So with that in mind, I'm going to take this 8x and bring it over here. It is a positive 8x, so when I bring it over, it becomes a negative 8x, okay? And now it's gone. 9x minus 8x would be 1x, and then bring your positive 3 down, and then divide both sides by 1, and x equals 3. 3 divided by 1 is 3. Okay? And so what we've studied today is angle bisectors and how an angle bisector divides an angle into two congruent angles, okay? And then we've applied that to some math problems, okay? I hope this has made sense. Call or email if you have any questions.